In the quiet sanctuary of my thoughts, a name once whispered only to the winds now echoes through unfamiliar corridors. I had folded her name into the pages of my silence, hidden beneath the verses of poetry I never dared to publish. But now the world speaks it, like a secret it never earned, like a flame it was never meant to touch. Who, I ask, unwrapped this delicate truth from the silk of my privacy? Who let the world gaze upon the woman I cherish with the eyes of scrutiny, before she ever stepped into her crown? Her name was a poem in itself, stitched with stars and silence, a name I spoke only in the company of the moon. I remember the moment I first saw her, unaware that she was the one my soul had waited lifetimes to meet. The way her spirit moved, not just through the air, but through the quiet of my chest. She was more than beauty, more than grace. She was the pause between heartbeats, the breath between battles. She was meant to be protected by verses, not headlines. Yet here we are, her name spilled like ink, without rhythm, without reverence. I had written her into existence with trembling hands, describing her not as the world would see her, but as I did. A queen, yes, but not merely of a palace. She ruled the echoes of my solitude, the light in my shadows, the yes to all my unasked questions. How dare they speak her name as if it were public property, when it is sacred to me? How dare they reduce her to curiosity, when every letter in her name was chosen by destiny? Do they not know what it cost me to keep her hidden? The restraint I wore like armor, the silence I treated like scripture, the secrets I buried deeper than my bloodline. She was not a rumor, she was a revelation. And I had wanted to give her to the world gently, like petals to spring, like dawn to night, not to have her flung into the open with no ceremony, no consent. The violation stings like betrayal, not just of privacy but of poetry itself. Each time they say her name, I wince. Not because I am ashamed, but because they've never earned the right to pronounce it with the reverence it deserves. They've never seen the way she walks barefoot in the desert, speaking to the sand as if it were a friend. They've never heard her laugh in a way that makes time slow down. Her name is more than sound, it is soul. And they've handled it like noise. I had written vows in secret, inscribed on the backs of love letters never sent. I had imagined the moment I would stand before her, a man not just of royal blood, but of unshakable heart. And in that moment, I would speak her name to the sky, not to the crowd, not to the press, but to the heavens that bore witness to our fate. Her name was to be a gift, not a gossip. Let them hear me now. She is not a scandal. She is not a storyline. She is a sacred thread in the embroidery of my soul. I do not flinch from love, but I recoil from the theft of intimacy. The world may know her now, but they will never know her as I do. Through the aching softness of my quiet, through the unspoken promises that hang in the silence between us. I still remember the night I told her she was mine, not in possession, but in prophecy. I told her that the stars had written us side by side long before our names were even known on earth. She smiled then, as if she knew. As if some part of her had always heard me across dimensions, across lifetimes. And I knew that no exposure, no violation, could undo that kind of cosmic alignment. But I am still hurt. I am still angry. Not because I fear losing her, no, what is written, but because I fear the loss of what could have been our quiet beginning. The innocence of anonymity. The delicate unfolding of love without the cold breath of cameras and judgment. We deserved that softness. We earned that privacy. I speak now not as Sheikh Hamdan, but as a man, flawed, emotional, deeply in love. I write these words with my chest cracked open, my vulnerability not as a weakness but as a weapon against all who seek to tarnish what is pure. Let the world hear me. I am not ashamed of her name, but I am heartbroken by its theft. My poetry was not meant to be decoded, my love not meant to be dissected. Still, I will not let bitterness win. I will not let noise drown the music of what we are. I will hold her name in my heart with the same reverence I always did. And when I speak it next, it will not be in defense. It will be in devotion, before God, before the stars, and before our forever. She is still mine. Still my muse. Still the queen of my unwritten verses. Let them expose all they want. The name may be known now, but the love? The love remains ours. Pure. Undisturbed. Eternal. The night after her name was spoken by strangers, I could not sleep. I wandered the palace halls like a ghost chasing the last light of a sacred dream. I paused by the windows where we once stood together, watching the world beneath us while wrapped in a silence only lovers understand. I replayed her voice in my mind, her laughter like an oasis in a desert of noise. That laughter is mine. That silence was ours. And now, even the shadows whisper her name as if the world has stolen something holy and passed it around without prayer. I think of the way she touches time, how her presence slows the spinning of days and turns the mundane into meaning. Before her, even my poetry felt like a performance. With her, every line I write breathes. She reads my words and understands the ones I cannot say aloud. Her eyes read my soul the way a storm reads the sky before it breaks into rain. And still, they dared to speak her name without permission, without knowing the weight it carries in my heart. She told me once, in a moment only the moon heard, that she never wanted fame, only truth. She did not dream of crowns or palaces. She dreamed of kindness, of loyalty, of being loved in a way that needed no proof. And I vowed to give her that love, to keep her safe from the noise I was born into. But I could not keep them from finding her name. And though I ache with fury, I will not let this make me forget the honor it is to love her. Do you know what it means for a man like me to love in silence? To carry a love so heavy yet never let it slip from my lips in public? I wrote her 1,000 poems I never published. I memorized the way her shadow moves across a room. I learned the taste of her sadness and promised to sweeten it with joy. My love for her was not meant to be shared through the lenses of the world, but through the eyes of destiny. Yet here I am, caught in a storm of revelation.